Can you give me a spot? All right, guys, we are live again. Again, thank you everyone for taking the time to come to the Game Changer Seminar here in Texas. We are very, very excited that you're all here, and for everybody out there watching in the interweb, we appreciate you and taking the time to check this out. Hey guys, our next Game Changer is Podium. And if that name sounds familiar, it probably should be. Podium truly is changing the game right now when it comes to AI engagement. So Podium is a game changer for auto dealers by centralizing reviews, messaging, and payments into one platform, streamlining communications and improving customer experience across every touch point. Their AI-driven tool, Jerry, which honestly I think is one of the coolest names out there, helps dealers generate more leads, boost CSI scores, and drive revenue by meeting shoppers where they are, and they are on this device. Guys, our next speaker is the one, the only, the oh-so-famous, he paid me to say it. I've done that one a couple times with it. A couple times. We have Ross with Podium. Ross, what's up, man? How you doing?
How you doing? How we doing, everybody?
Thanks, guys. Big round of applause.
Excited to talk to you all today. Yes, I have probably about 30 minutes of content, but I will stop and take pauses. And if you have feedback or you'd like to challenge anything that I'm sharing or just share any of your insights around AI, given your experience, I'd love to hear it. I'm certainly happy to just sit up here and talk, but I'd love to get some participation and engagement. And you for sure don't have to agree with everything I have to say, but I do have some good stuff to say. So I'm Ross, Vice President of Automotive at Podium. I've been with the business for about a decade, since really the early days. So we started just as a review tool. I've done a whole bunch of stuff along the way. About 2 years ago, we made the decision that this AI opportunity was going to be the biggest technological shift any of us in this room will see in our lifetime. And we're gonna really grab onto that and see what we can do, because we believe there's huge leverage and huge opportunity there. And I think the cool thing about AI is we are very early in, right? ChatGPT, I mean, Dane mentioned LLMs about 15 times in his presentation. And so AI is sort of permeating itself into our society. In all sorts of conversations. There's a ton of leverage for automotive retail, but obviously this is much, much bigger than just an automotive retail widget or solution, right? This is going to change the way we do a whole lot of things. And so sure, we are in the midst of a revolution. Maybe that's cheesy or cliche, but it's also pretty damn true. So would you all indulge me, just a show of hands, is anyone using an AI solution in their dealership or has an Impel, a Matador, a Podium, a Hammer, or whoever? So I'm seeing like 5 hands. That's it? Okay, so great. If you guys want to share any of your experiences we go through, please feel free to do that. So I'm going to talk about a couple things today. So let's just first define what we're talking about here with AI. In the context of this conversation, it is conversational AI. It is a thing that talks to your prospects or customers on your behalf. And for it to really be AI, in my opinion, it needs to be operating at the level of a human or beyond that, right? So there's tools out there that call themselves AI, which are really glorified process automation and do a wonderful job of process automation, but AI should really be able to do a couple of things. Again, engage in a conversation as good as one of your people can, or in many cases, hopefully a whole lot better, because it can do it consistently. But it should also really, where was my next thought going there? So consistent conversations, but the opportunity for you all to really level up how you're running your operation. So from an operational perspective, where AI should really thrive and shine for you is to take more the mundane type of daily tasks, like initial response to a lead. You guys get a lot of leads every single day. Wouldn't it be great if AI could at least handle the initial responses to those conversations? We'll talk about that. But really what it should be for you all is an enabler, right? For your people to go focus on higher value tasks than maybe they are today, because higher value, higher dollar tasks are what lead to more revenue impact for you. So we're seeing a shift in the industry. So we're going to cover a couple things. We're going to cover efficiency, right? There's efficiency gains for sure. That's a no-brainer. There is an opportunity from like in a revenue perspective. We've really focused on lead engagement and helping optimize processes within the BDC. There's money in leads. The better you do with your leads, the more money you make off the leads that you're paying every single month for. But the other part of it is like, this is really personalization at scale. So if there is a particular brand that you like to wear, right? Like I'll speak for myself, like Travis Mathew, big Travis Mathew guy, wear a lot of their clothing. The way in which you are marketed to from any brand that you engage with, like it is not peanut butter spread marketing, guys. It's personalized marketing based on everything they know about you. And what AI can do for you all is something similar to provide personalization of interactions at scale. We're not talking chatbots, we're not talking robots, we're talking AI that is fed by data, your data, to have an informed and educated conversation with a customer that is personalized to them and everything that you know about them, because that's what we're all trained for as consumers today, right? Like, I have a question, I want an instant answer, and I want it to be personalized. I want you to know something about me to give me the right contextual answer, okay? I mentioned efficiency, so I'll make a couple of points on this. I'll let you all read through this here, but a couple of very obvious opportunities. Optimizing how you handle engagements and leads after hours. What is not a good experience, and again, I think it'd be wise to look at your own data and understand how many inquiries are actually coming in after hours. I think there's sort of a wide spectrum there of answers you get from dealers, but a lot of people are shopping on their phone after hours at the end of the day, after I get my kids put to bed, right? Like I've got 10 minutes, I'm shopping for a car. I'm not doing that during business hours because I'm doing other shit during business hours, like I'm at my job, right? And so engagement with customers after hours, super important, typically a ton of room to optimize what's happening there. Cost per interaction. I mean, the answer for forever has been, I have my people that do it, or I go pay for other people that work somewhere else to do this job for me. Either way, you're paying a person to do it, and people aren't cheap, right? Payroll costs are probably one of your largest expenses, okay? And so the actual cost per interaction, when you think about what you're investing in an AI agent, which by the way aren't cheap, nor should they necessarily be. We're early on in the technology. There's a lot of engineering that goes in to make this stuff work, to be clear. Building an AI solution is hard work, and you don't get it right on the first iteration. We've been doing it for 2 years, and the product has come a long way, still a long way to make it go, right? People have very high expectations for AI, by the way, right? It messes up once, you're fired. A human messes up once, well, you might get a couple more strikes. So there's really thin margin for a room for error with AI. And so again, the amount of engineering and programming and product work that has to go into making these solutions real and viable is immense. And so again, not a cheap solution, still cheaper than a person though. Okay, keep that one in mind. They don't turn over, right? So like we live in a world of continuously having to hire and fire and ramp and train, and that will always be the world we exist in. But when you do that with an AI agent, we're gonna talk about like the actual training and onboarding and customization aspect of it, which is really freaking important. But once you do that and make that investment, you don't go back and do it again because that employee's not gonna quit. You can fire them, right? If you're using a vendor, you can fire that employee, but they're never gonna quit, at least not on their own. And so you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that every 3 months. You make that 3-month investment, and that what you have built, it stays there and is consistent, okay? Any thoughts, anything so far? No, I'll keep going. Okay. We're gonna go to some really I think straightforward tactical use cases for AI. Maybe these are the things you're doing or have thought about before. We'll just kind of kick it off here. Where we're gonna get to a little bit further into the conversation is like, how do I buy an AI solution? I think it's just really fascinating to think about, like, many of you are gonna go buy something you've never bought before. And so how do you know what questions to ask? Like, do you have a good baseline understanding of how this technology works? You kind of have to be able to ask the right questions. I'll give you a little bit of like a cheat code today and just share with you, like, no matter what AI solution you're buying, like, these are some of the core things you need to think about and ask and feel really good about those answers. Because once you go invest in this solution, again, it's not cheap. And the last thing you all want to do is go waste 3 months of your life and your people's time and effort to try to get something off the ground, when if you just had asked some of those right questions at the beginning, you would have known this actually isn't the solution for me. Like, I don't feel satisfied with those answers. So hopefully this can all save you maybe a little bit of time and potential pain. So just manual tasks. We do a lot with reviews, right? AI really has leveled this up for us. So just think about review responses. Again, I'm going to go pay an outside company or agency to respond to these, or I'm going to have someone in-house do it. AI is very, very good at contextual responses to your reviews, your hard-earned Google reviews that your customers are going out of their way to leave you. You better be responding to those. Number one is a baseline. If you're not, you should go address that tomorrow. But AI is a really cheap tool that does an exceptional job responding to feedback online on your behalf. And no two responses are the same because no two reviews are the same, right? And so just kind of a couple quick examples there. Also just customizing the ask of what do you want this review to be about? Hey, leave us a review. Hey, can you please leave us a review, Ross, based on your experience with X, Y, and Z thing, right? If you're trying to collect maybe more specific contextual reviews based on a certain part of your process, AI can help you customize those talk tracks and those questions. Personalization at scale. Don't forget that one. The other area where we've seen huge leverage here is just creation of things like marketing campaigns, right? Putting together the right campaign at the right time has been, I sit down and really think about it and I type this thing out and what do I want to say, and maybe I've tested some different stuff. This messaging, resonates pretty well with my customers. This doesn't. Cool. Takes time and effort and energy, or you're working with a third-party company who's helping you craft these things. AI, from a content creation standpoint, pretty freaking magical. Does a really good job with things like building marketing campaigns. We do a lot with text-based marketing campaigns. The other reason AI is really helpful is because as people respond to those, AI can actually answer for you. And you typically are going to get a lot of responses to things like a text-based marketing campaign. So again, fairly tactical. Where I do want to lean in most in this conversation is just really, let's have like a lead conversation for a second, right? So this, in my experience working with dealers, is where there just seems to be a whole lot to be gained, right? A whole lot that can be optimized. We can do better here. We've covered after hours, great, but what about during the day? What is your average response time to all of your leads? Does anybody know, like last month, how long it takes you to get back to your leads as a straight line average across all lead sources? Chat leads, third-party leads, OEM leads. Does anybody know that number?
2 to 3 minutes.
2 to 3 minutes? That is fantastic. That is fantastic. Industry leading, guys, what you should be shooting for, what AI can help you do is get that down to 2 minutes or less. We intentionally leave a little bit of a delay because we don't want people to get an instant response. It's like, oh, this isn't that person. No one can type that fast. So we intentionally want to leave like a 30-second, 1 minute buffer between when a question comes in and we give AI a chance to formulate the answer. It's more authentic and more human-like that way. But sub 2 minutes. If you're 2 to 3 minutes, that's fantastic. I don't think a lot of folks are necessarily in that position, or it's hard to maintain that consistently, right? Like you have to let some folks go 1 month, someone's on a vacation, whatever the things are that come up in life can be a huge drag. But why is it so important? Because guys, if you're missing that first 5 minute mark, you're letting money walk out the door and into the hands of a competitor who's answering that lead in a better way than you are. So like the actual answer is paramount. It's the most important thing is what is the quality of the engagement with the customer? But you can for sure shoot for 2 minutes or less because we know those leads are going to more than one dealer. We know we're in a pretty darn competitive market. Dealers have inventory. And so in a lot of cases, the one who wins that customer is the one who just gets back to them first. Because if we reset a bit, what do we all train as consumers to do? I want an immediate response. I'm not giving you a day to get back to me. You can kiss my business goodbye. So consistent, quick responses to leads. This is where I think we've seen like the largest value driver for dealers. Again, I've covered this. I'm not gonna repeat a lot of this, but 24/7, you've got coverage, or even if you're running an awesome BDC, like really buttoned up, you've got it dialed in and nailed down. There still could be times during the day when it's going to take a person more than 2 minutes to get back to a lead. People get busy, right? You have someone call out, like these are things that just happen. So even having AI there is just a backstop, even if you feel like you're like have really made it with your BDC or your internet department, AI can be a great backstop, a great safety mechanism to make sure you're not missing anything or letting anything fall through the cracks. Typically, like you all know where your leads are coming from. It's a different conversation for every, from dealer to dealer of who do you use, what works well for you. Obviously, the website's always the best, right? People are on the website. Those are our highest converting leads. But look for a solution that can engage across multiple channels. Where this is starting to get really interesting, by the way, is voice, which hasn't been there yet. Like if you've talked to an AI agent on the phone, you know it's an AI agent, the technology isn't there yet. It's way harder to pull off. Asynchronous communication though, text and email, outstanding job. By and large, outstanding job. Gives the AI, because the way the AI works is it's got to ping. We're a partner with OpenAI. We use OpenAI. Okay, we use a couple different of their models for different things, but it's got to ping OpenAI. It's got to ping our tech stack. It's got to ping the DMS or the CRM. It's got to go collect data about this customer, and that takes time. Even if it's milliseconds add up. And when we're here having an actual voice dialogue, like there is no room for pause in that. And so voice is definitely like the next channel where I think AI is going to make a huge impact. There's companies out there building a business on it. Numa AI or Brook AI on the service side. They're just focused on optimizing that service experience and the amount of missed calls and lost revenue opportunities there. But it still sounds like it's not a person. And so therefore, by our definition of where we started, is it's not really AI because I can tell it's not a person. So like, let's automatically disqualify that as really a true AI solution. And that's not a knock on anyone I'm talking about. It's just a matter of fact and where the technology is. But voice is coming. It's coming in a big way, probably quicker than any of us really think about. So couple other thoughts. Like we've talked about initial lead response, right? Those leads flow in. Ensure there's someone there to manage that conversation. AI is there when a human can't do it. AI is there after hours, but also just longer term lead follow-up, right? How much opportunity is falling off as you go from month to month with those leads that for whatever reason didn't convert, right? Something happened to that person. They're out of the car buying game for a couple weeks. It doesn't mean they're not going to be back. And so programming AI in a way to continually follow up with customers to your heart's content, typically a lot of opportunity to optimize there. Most salespeople aren't getting on the phone and calling a dead lead from 3 months ago. It's not a thing that happens. It can be a thing that happens though, and you can automate it and program it to function the way in which you would want it to. Other big opportunity to revenue mining is just a fancy way of saying you have customers in your DMS, right? And especially on the service side of the business, right? Like the defection of folks, lost revenue opportunity, loss of loyalty because now my car isn't getting serviced in your service drive. I'm getting it serviced at Midas, whatever the scenario is. But automate outreach in sort of a more surgical manner. Like I want to reach out to all my customers whose lease is due in the next 90 days because we've got some potential great opportunities to flip them into a new lease or whatever makes sense for them. Automating that type of outreach, right? Customers whose finance is coming to the end. When folks change, their credit score gets better and they're moving up a tier, like all different signals in which you can use AI to reach out to those customers that exist in your database. Where maybe you're doing some marketing today, or we're sending an email to all of our service customers saying, come in and get 4 tires for the price of 3, whatever. Like, not saying those aren't effective, but again, personalization at scale. Let AI reach out to individual customers in their unique individual situation, and it's context driven. This isn't sending the same email to 10,000 people, right? And so these are all for sure opportunities that exist today. And just generally like customer support and engagement, right? Like ensuring that you've got a consistent way to manage common inquiries. Okay, if I were to reach out and ask you just for like, maybe it's a service specific question, like what is the cost per an oil change? Or can you tell me the answer to this question? You can program AI to answer that question the exact same way every single time, right? No more misset expectations potentially with prospects or customers. And again, it's always on. I think there's a cool quote. I have other case studies I was going to show. I backed them out. Like a couple thoughts. I think the results that you guys would see with an AI solution are going to vary very much from dealer to dealer. We've got about 1,400 dealers using our AI. We work more largely with about 6,000 dealers in the US. So a lot of case studies. I like this quote though. I think this quote means a whole heck of a lot. which is when people are talking generally to our AI agent or any high quality AI agent, they shouldn't know it's AI, guys. If they ask, it should tell them I'm not a real person, sure, right? But like that, we see example after example of dealers who name their AI whatever it is they want, and the customer comes in, they ask for George or Jerry or Ross or whoever, but they think it's a real person. Like that to me is where the proof is really in the pudding. I think, again, from like an opportunity perspective, there's a couple ways to think of this. Number one is optimizing your digital storefront. You're going to invest in SEO. You're going to go buy leads. You're going to do all the things. How do you then best convert that customer from your website, right? And it could just simply be, hey, right now when someone comes in at 10 o'clock at night, they've got to wait for an answer for a day or until the next day. What if that wasn't the case? What if you could use an AI agent to schedule a test drive of that person, and instead of you calling them the next morning, they're in the dealership to test drive the car that they're interested in? That's better. That's for sure better. So I think, again, the opportunity to really optimize your digital storefront, your website, absolutely tremendous upside there. On the cost saving side, I mean, there's always a conversation of like, well, should I just like fire people? Am I going to save? Can this let me fire people? I don't think that's the right way to necessarily look at it. It is more, you have people, how do you optimize their daily activity? How do you make sure they're spending their time on maximum the maximum opportunity to generate revenue? So it's the repositioning of the work. It's the repositioning, right? Instead of you do this, you go do this, which is going to yield me more because AI's got that covered. So you have revenue upside opportunity, and you absolutely have operational efficiency opportunity. Two things to keep in mind. Okay, so I like this list a lot. And I'm not going to talk to every bullet point on the list. I'll give you all an opportunity to read through, and I'm going to speak to what I think is most important here. Number one most important thing is this guy, right? Like large language model. So we are in an arms race of massive companies trying to build the world's best AI models. Like we really are. Like this is the golden goose. And so there's, essentially 4 or 5 very large players. As I mentioned, we use OpenAI today. OpenAI might suck in 6 months, and there's a way better model to power these conversations, right? And so we've made the decision as a business to be model agnostic. We don't care which model we use. We're going to use the one that gives the best results for our customers. And then we, of course, build the technology and scaffolding and all the things that go around that. The LLM is part of the equation, but it's a really important part of the equation. It should be a huge red flag if you go to partner with a company who has like built their own LLM. I wouldn't work with anybody who's built their own LLM. There's the amount of billions of dollars of investment that are going into these companies to make these models really amazing things. Any company that you partner with should be able to tell you, here's how we're going to future-proof our solution. Because again, hopefully if you're investing in an AI solution, there's work on the front end. It's not cheap. And I don't think you want to be in a position to fire the company you're working with to go rehire one in 6 months. So how are you future-proofing your technology? What LLM do you use? Why do you use that LLM? What is your plan in 6 months if that one falls off and becomes less relevant and there's a better solution? So educate yourself on what LLMs are, and at the very least, make sure you know any AI company that you're working with, what is powering their stuff. You have the right to know that, and they should be happy to tell you. The second most important one, well, I don't know, maybe it's equally as important. Does it learn, right? Like AI should be smart enough to learn. And so the way in which I don't want to divert too much Podium, but this is also, I think, just like a general thing. So when we onboard a customer, what we tell them, anybody who buys AI from us, hey, this is a 60 to 90 day ramp. That is what it is. And so we look for dealers who really want to partner with us because we can't have the AI learn without you helping us teach it. You know what your processes are in the store. You know the tone and tenor of the conversation that you want to have with your prospects and your customers. The great news is we can really customize this solution out of the gate to, again, answer questions the way you want them answered. But you're going to watch those conversations happen. The number one reason I see anybody defect from another conversational AI company. The number one reason is the conversations just weren't good enough. We invested a bunch of time and money into this and couldn't train it the way we wanted and answered questions jacked up. I mean, a lot of the hallucination stuff has started to clear up a little bit as I think companies have gotten better at this. Like just AI saying weird shit, like that still happens, sure, but it's a lot less than what I saw maybe a year or so ago. But if you can't really teach your AI agent the way you want it to act, that's a big miss. So AI should learn, and you guys have to be part of that process. And if you don't want to be part of that process, I'd suggest you don't invest in an AI agent because it's never going to be what you want it to be without you getting involved in that. Integration, super important. Maybe this is like a food for thought remark, but hey, we're Podium. We integrate with Vin Solutions. Cool. What does that mean, right? Like all integrations are not built the same. All integrations are not built the same. And like all the APIs are created equal, but the amount of work that has to be done to really deeply integrate with your systems of record, it doesn't come out on like the first pass of building an integration. We're still building our integrations. They're good. They could be a whole lot better. And based on feedback we've gotten from dealers, like we're continuing to invest and up level those, but that takes time and resources. And so when someone says they integrate, like get real specific on what that means, because your expectation when you think of what an integrated solution is probably far different than what the person on the other side of the table is saying, right? So I get as crystal clear on that as you can. I think we've covered a lot of this. The support one kind of goes back to what I started with. That's always super important, no matter what we're talking about. But like, what is initial onboarding like? Okay, after that first 60 or 90 days, what does that look like, right? Like, how am I engaging with your team? If I have feedback on my AI agent, do I have to like type an email and send it to you and you gotta go do stuff? Or can I just self-serve some of this stuff, right? Like, I dig into the support, to the trainability, and again, get really specific on how that's gonna work with any provider that you're hitching your wagon to. Yeah, I think those are the most important things. I mean, like security risk guardrails, those are important. Typically, you don't want the price conversation to be managed by AI as it stands today, right? No, nobody wants that. So again, we do a lot with out-of-the-box guardrails, but every dealer has some unique sort of way, and I don't want you to touch this conversation for this reason, or this lead source, this specific lead, those have to be talked to in a different way than everything else, right? So is this interesting? Is this stuff that you guys have all thought about before? Or anyone who's bought an AI solution, did you ask what LLM it was built on top of? Maybe, maybe not. You should. All right, so a couple more things. So goal focused, right? Like it's not just meant to be there to talk to someone. What is the outcome we're talking about? Well, in the context of leads, typically we want it to be focused on getting that customer in for a test drive. Like, we have what you want. Here are other options as well. What time are you available tomorrow or Wednesday or whatever to come in? Like, go for the close. Outcome oriented. We don't just churning and having an open-ended conversation that goes nowhere. It's the same thing you train your salespeople to do. Go for the close. Get them in the store for an appointment. And that's really, like, I think the marriage right now between AI and humans is AI is really good at like the front end, top of funnel stuff. The goal is always to get the customer in the store working with one of your people. That's where they typically thrive. That's where your best people are. They're on the showroom floor. They're not typically positioned in the BDC. So goal oriented on service, really it's all about scheduling appointments, helping manage availability, trying to make sure the appointment sticks after that customer schedules. Consistency, I've mentioned this a couple times. I think again, super important. If that AI is answering the same question from different customers a different way, that's a concern. That's something you should give your provider feedback on. Because again, the whole goal of this, if we like zoom back out a little bit, is how do you get that consistent message to each of your customers? So that should be there. This is the most important one, though, in my humble opinion. If that AI agent can't and I've seen horror story examples where a lead comes in and the customer's like, hey, my wife's in the hospital. I'm gonna have to pick this one up in a week. Hey, thanks for responding, Ross. Can we get you connected to one of our product specialists? No lie, right? What, just bad, guys. And so it's not just the words we speak. It is our emotion and our intention and our empathy that make us human beings. So again, if the whole goal of AI is to operate at the level of a human or better, it needs to be able to read and understand more deeply in that conversation. I'm sorry to hear that your wife's in the hospital, Ross. Please let us know if there's anything anything else we can do. Wishing you the best. Great. That's all you should say if someone tells you their wife's in the hospital. So this whole the conversationality of the agent is something I would suggest you really pressure test with any provider, because you want to know if you ask it kind of weird questions, not your run-of-the-mill, hey, do you have this car on the lot? Ask it the stuff to see how it answers. Give it those weird edge cases. Okay, we had an example of, and it's a fun game. Every dealer tries to break our AI, and sometimes, yeah, they do. But we had earlier on a GM of a store who was awesome, and he just kept pressing it for this car with a pink interior. And the response we eventually got to with our agent was, we don't have that, but here is a custom upholstery shop near you that's rated very highly on Google. We'd recommend that you take it there, and they can probably help you with that. And then the guy bought Podium. It was great. So, but yeah, try to break it. It's a fun game. You should try and break it. Self-improving, we covered a bit here. Again, does it learn? Does it learn without you having to train it, right? There's multiple ways for AI to learn, but that initial learning curve, from what I've seen, is going to be your first 90 days on a product like this. And then from there, you're pretty well optimized. You continue to fine tune. Then you're in fine tuning world. But how long does it take you to train a person to get them doing really well? 60 days? Yeah, typically, it's not going to be 2 weeks. So I would just really try to frame it, thinking about it the same way. You train people for AI to really be what you want it to be. You got to train it too. And this will all, as time goes on and the models get better, you'll have to do less of that. But as it stands today, and again, everybody's unique. Everyone has different characteristics of the store they would like to shine through in those conversations. So there's actually never going to be a perfect out-of-the-box AI solution. I don't think that's ever going to exist, because everyone has a different level of expectation and need. Low risk guardrails, we've covered that. Here's my final point, and then I'll end it. I did end up talking the entire time. So if you have questions, I'd certainly love to entertain them. How does this AI work really well with people in your dealership, right? How are they notified when it gets stuck or a customer has a question you've told it not to answer? How are those things elevated and brought to your team? Can it actually help train your team? So I think one of the interesting things, within the context of what we've done, we have AI at every turn of the product and give suggested answers. So if your BDC agent is running the conversation, suggest a reply. We've seen pretty good feedback on this actually leveling up the way the questions are handled within a BDC, right? Where it's actually helping to train the humans, or it just gets the creative juices flowing. So yeah, it should complement your people. We're not here to fire everybody yet. That might be next year. I'm half joking, also half not, but. And then just what's on the horizon to me, voice is a big bet. I think, again, service, huge opportunity for optimization. There was a car dealership guy post the other day of, given the tariffs and the uncertainty in the market, everyone's going to go really run and focus on optimizing their service drive, because there's a lot of room for optimization there. But also, yeah, how do we ensure ends meet if new price of the car spikes and we anticipate moving less retail units this year? So service is coming next. I think voice is a core component of that. That's typically the primary channel people are still using to schedule service appointments. Voice has to be there for this to really be relevant on the service side. But yeah, exciting topic. Again, I've been partnering with dealers for the past 10 years. I've sold a lot of stuff. This is the most fun thing I've ever sold. And it's fun because it's complex. And it's fun because it's still getting figured out. And so yeah, it's fun. It's fun to build stuff. But I'll stop there. Any questions?
I think we need to take a moment for everyone to jump in here. You guys text that Jerry, you'll get into a conversation with Jerry. It's quite fun. I pushed Jerry around a little bit.
Beat him up.
It's cool.
Jerry has thick skin. Jerry's an emotionless computer program, so you can beat the crap out of it.
Power the trade-in evaluations? Is there anything specific you're thinking for that?
No, I think those are things like just very directly we have on our roadmap. I don't think we're sort of fully cooked on where we're going next. So we focus very much on sales, optimizing sales, building all the integrations with the CRMs in particular to power that. Next, we're moving to service. And honestly, that's probably going to be like what we focus on for the rest of the year because there's going to be a lot of work to do there. So those are other kind of interesting things, but maybe things I haven't necessarily thought too deeply about how we power that or who you partner with to power that.
Does it automatically follow up with leads, or is there a way that you set it up where does it give you a report like it hasn't been followed up within 72 hours? Does it give you that report?
So typically,